He's got a good shot at doing that tonight, but as you look at the track temperature from when we started to where we are now, that 10 degrees, 101 to 91, is huge, and that's probably where Kyle, his car's getting faster and faster. He was a little bit too free in the beginning on the long runs, but right now that thing is just checked out.
And it's a dramatic change. It typically grip all the way through the corner, right? But for somebody like Kyle, he'll take advantage of the opportunity, whether he needed some help getting in or through the middle or off. He anticipates what he's got right now. He anticipated that.
Yeah. And his motivation, we talked about championships before, but he just wants to run up the numbers. This is a guy that just wants to win races, get as many in that win column as he can.
And the bad news for everybody else, Kyle's running 24.90s. They started the race running 25.10s, 20s, 30s. Those are fast laps right now.
And we talked about that, 133 mile per hour lap average for the pole. But Ray, that's getting between 150, 160 going into the corners.
Absolutely. As we said, that even though the track looks like Richmond, the way that the banking on the corner exit allows these guys to really lay in the throttle and go down those straightaways. As I was looking at this racetrack, there's only a short part of the back straightaway right there that doesn't have banking. Other than that, and that means banking, big radius, you're in the throttle a lot. This is a fast racetrack.
And going back to Rusty Wallace, one of the best to ever race in NASCAR, he designed the track so that it would be driver friendly. And he understood that putting banking in, starting in the middle of the corner, would load the car, give the driver a good feel, and it allows drivers to do what these guys are doing or getting ready to do, which is run side by side down into the corner.
Again, two young guys having a great side-by-side battle, both aiming for that top 10 finishing position. Justin Allgaier and Michael Annett, two guys that we talked about in the game show. There they are, hanging in there late in the race, side-by-side battle for top 10.
And we talked early in the day about taking care of fenders, Ray. It's remarkable. These guys have all taken care of their fenders. I know there's 50 laps to go.
And the only thing really hurting the fenders tonight is that when they melted those beads on the right front and they popped the tire.
Well, they're about to go 3 wide here, so I'll be watching their fenders. 4 wide, Mike Bliss down on the inside.
Got around Robert Richardson, the lap car there, the 23, and Bliss looking for an opportunity now. Again, this is Allgaier running in the 9th position, Annett 10th, and Bliss in 11th. Bliss, I think, is smelling a top 10 run here tonight.
That would be great for Dirt Team Motorsports, the top 10 finish. Mike's just we're talking about young guys, veteran journeyman driver. Just about everything he gets in, he's able to get a decent finish, take care of people's equipment. Mike's been around a long time. He'd be a guy you'd put in and say, look, I need you to take care of my car and I need a good solid finish.
Yeah, you're right, Ray. He's one of these guys that improves everybody around him. Just takes them up a little bit higher and runs a little better than maybe what they were expecting.
And look at that graphic there. Lap 1, position 40th. He was involved in that lap 1 incident, spinning to the high side coming out of turn number 4. So great recovery for the veteran Bliss. Working on Annett now. Again, we mentioned Annett running in the 10th. So
sparks.
There it is. And that's Mike Wallace.
Wow. But it looks very similar, doesn't it, to what we've had?
Sure does.
Caution is out. It looks identical to what we've seen here.
Guys, and unfortunately, it's right about that same window.
Yep, as we look, they were last on pit road, lap 163. So that's your 50 lap mark right there, Ray, and that's about all we've seen out of a number of cars on that right front.
So which means this flat set of tires could take us right down to the sort of the bubble area.
Oh man, and then we talked about Carl Edwards earlier taking care of his right front. When does he go for it? And how do you know? I guess it depends on how hard you've been driving it during these runs, right?
It depends a lot. And I think that, Ray, you're sitting on the box. How low can you take the air pressure? I mean, how low do you dare go down? Because that's one thing you could do maybe to help preserve the right side tires.
Well, guys, going back to, I really don't believe we're seeing a tire issue. We're seeing a
mechanical
brake
issue, right?
What you saw there, the flames coming from that tells me that there's, again, a brake problem in the front of that car. And as it melts the bead on that tire, the air goes out. We just catch the sparks as the car's going up the track, and there's Mike Wallace right there. Again, another veteran driver. So you would assume that Mike knows how to take care of brakes and stuff. So again, here we go on pit road. They're come for their last set of tires.
This is the money stop. Jim, here comes Harvick.
And Kevin Harvick and Ernie Cope are going to go for the money. It will be a 2-tire stop. They started to take 4, then Kevin said, nope, I think we need to go for it right now. 2 tires stop, full load of Sunoco fuel. Harvick is away, Rick.
Kyle Busch wanted the exact same changes that he had last time. He said, do the same thing again, about a half as to what they did 2 ago, comfortable, and now Shannon.
Brad Keselowski says the car is a little bit free, guys. They are going to go for, looks like 4 tires on Brad Keselowski. You see Trevor Bayne in the top of your screen. He is going to work on that car as well. They're going to go back on the track bar and more tires.
And as you watch the race off of pit road, we'll be able to show you who took 2 and who took 4. There is that track position right now. As you see, the new leader coming to the green should be Kevin Harvick. Well, Kyle Busch fell back a little bit on that round of pit stops, but he's dominated the night. Down to pit road and Jim Noble.
All right, I'm on the box with Ernie Cope, crew chief for Kevin Harvick. It was a gutsy call. 2 tires. I think you and Kevin both talked. If you're going to do it, now's the time.
Yeah, right now we're not running for points. We're trying to win races. We figured that'd be our best shot. Just get track position, see what happens. I mean, Kyle had us. He took off better, so our best chance to take 2 tires and try getting out front.
All right, coming to the green, guys.
42 laps to go. The top 5 took 2 right side tires only. Behind them, Kyle Busch, the first one to take 4. Let's see what Harvick can do.
See what Kevin Harvick can do, but I got one eye on Kyle Busch because this is the deepest he's been in the field all
What he
night.
can do, way to the outside, immediately passes 3 cars, and Busch now running third. Those guys look like sitting ducks up there.
Interesting.
More 3 wide behind him. Josh Wise in the 7, Keselowski in the 22, Shelby Howard racing back in the 70. Great restart action on these double file restarts, shootout style. Puts all the cars racing each other at the front of the pack. And
Kyle just incredibly strong in that middle groove. Drove by the outside.
Yeah, and really, really aggressive, driving deep into the corner.
here comes Keselowski, trying to work on Allgaier. Harvick is about to have his hands full with Kyle Busch.
Teammates side by side. Ricky, that used to make me nervous as a car owner.
I was just thinking that, it's hard enough to race side by side with your competitors, but when it's your teammate, you just give a little extra margin for error.
Now, last week we saw one of the biggest races of the year. The Brickyard 400 was won by a car that took 2 tires only on its final stop, with the race dominator being stuffed back in the back. But Kyle Busch has made much shorter work than Juan Pablo Montoya was able to last week.
So I think that was a key where Juan Pablo didn't really get going. Actually lost a couple positions in the first couple laps. Kyle just jumped to the outside and made up positions, and he's basically right on the back bumper of the 33 car now.
Exactly. Last week's track, Indianapolis, didn't give the options that we have here tonight. You can see Trevor is using option A, lane 1. Brad in the middle of the track.
Option 2, and Allgaier trying to not have him use option 3, which might be the bumper. Allgaier trying to keep him behind him right now. Allgaier drifting to the high side there, having all the track to work with. He's running his line. These guys have to adapt.
Yeah. And whether or not 2 tires works depends on what your car was doing before you made that decision. 2 tires has always tightened me up as a driver. So if you were loose, it might work in your favor.
Let's hear from Shannon on Keselowski.
Well, it was 4 scuffed tires for Brad Keselowski as well as an air pressure adjustment, but they opted not to go with any fuel to help with that nose weight. Ray, maybe you can just describe how that will affect that car.
Yeah, well, 2 things, but leaving the fuel out makes it lighter, and a lighter car is always faster, but it'll also make the car a little bit tighter. Sometimes when you put fuel in, it frees the car up, and Brad's been fighting a loose car all night. The other thing that will tighten that car up probably is the scuffed tire versus a sticker tire. It might make the car a little bit tighter, but sometimes a scuffed tire with 1 heat cycle on it is not as fast as a sticker, so he might be struggling with that right now.
We saw Michael in that wiggle there in the 15 car. He's holding down 4th position right now, trying to keep those guys behind him. Up front, Kevin Harvick has put 10 car lengths on Kyle Busch with just the change of the 2 right side tires. Remember, Busch took 4. We continue to watch this battle between Allgaier, Annette, and Bain. Keselowski looking in there too. Shelby Howard in that 70 car, again, having a great run. Howard currently holding down 8.
Inched his way forward all night. Now he's amongst guys who've been racing up front.
And guys, with Shelby Howard coming in there, it's probably going to force the 22, Brad Keselowski, to maybe put a little bit of extra pressure on his teammate, because the 12 of Allgaier and the 99 of Bain have been running kind of side by side, but they're starting to get some company. Carl Edwards, Stephen Wallace, and Shelby Howard.
Yeah, you're right, Ray. If you look at Brad's situation just ahead of this pack, he can be offensive right now. He can choose his lane, but as they close in, he has to be defensive and almost always slows you down when you're preoccupied with your mirror.